Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at teachers reveal how their student cheats. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. Don't cheat, please. Don't cheat. Just study, alright? I'm a high school teacher, but this story is about my own high school math teacher playing us and cheating. It was an honors algebra geometry class, and it was well known that Mr. D reused the same questions every year, just changed the numbers. He made a big deal about making sure we all gave our exam papers back to him after we had looked at our scores and gone over everything together to prevent cheating for the next year. Well, of course, some of my classmates got their hands on a complete set of tests from the previous year. Soon, everyone had a set. Before each exam, we would sit together and make sure we knew how to solve every problem on that test so we could do it on the real exam with different numbers. Years later, when I became a teacher myself, I saw Mr. D at a funeral. I confessed to him that this is what we used to do. He smirked and said, "Who do you think leaked the test papers to get you to study?" Mr. D had figured out that kids won't study if the teacher suggests it, but if they think they're getting away with something, they totally will. So he managed to get a test packet out and circulating as contraband. Blew my mind. I'm just shook that no one saw through it, you know? Like, everyone really thought they were cheating, but they knew how to do all the questions. So they were studying to cheat, man. That is smart of the teacher though, you know. This is basically just the teacher making everyone study. I guess the students do have more of an advantage if they do know what questions are in the test and all they have to do is just memorize how to do it. Yes, the test is going to be a lot easier if you already know how to do the questions. But at the same time, he got the kids who didn't want to study. So that's kind of good. College physics. Girl with a really intricate tattoo on her leg wrote formulas in between the tattoo lines. Even looking closely, you couldn't tell unless you knew what you were looking for. You could tell it was a test day because she wore shorts. Wow. She wrote it in between the tattoo so it would look like it's part of the tattoo. Wow. There was a class that allowed you to bring one sheet of handwritten notes to exams. I knew a guy that curated a font of his own handwriting and used to print the entire study guide onto a piece of notebook paper front and back. He even set the font color to pencil gray and managed to get the margins and spacing exactly right to look like it'd been handwritten. Wow, he made his own font just to cheat. Wow, that's dedication. My girlfriend works for a dental exam company, which are obviously super high stakes exams. Since the exams are worldwide, they actually found people from one time zone paying people from another time zone to email questions to them right before the exam starts. Whoa. Wow, that's next level, honestly. That's actually next level, you know. Someone is taking the exam in another country and then they come out and they're like, okay, this is what's in the test. Wow. Holy. The things people would do to get into something. Not the student, but the teacher. So the teacher, let's call him Mr. A, had a reputation for being a phenomenal teacher who had every student engaged, invested in his class, no matter how mundane the subject. Anytime he asked a question, every student's hand would shoot in the air with them shouting things like, "Call on me," or "I know the answer." Simply, Mr. A developed a reputation in the district as one of its best teachers. Fast forward a couple years later and I'm grabbing coffee with Mr. A and I ask him, "What's your trick? How did you get every student brought in?" His response, "Well, I told the kids every time we had a visitor in class, I need you all to raise your hand like I was giving away free candy. But if you don't know the answer, raise your left hand. If you do know it, raise your right hand. So I know who to call on and we all look good. Worked like a charm." Wow, that's smart. A win-win, you know, the teacher looks good and the students look good because they all look smart, you know. Wow. My exams that used graphic calculators required us to show the examiners a proof of reset screen before the paper started, so instead of actually studying for my papers, I painstakingly redrew the proof of reset screen pixel by pixel and stored all my notes in it. What? You could do that? What is that calculator? I don't even know what calculator that is. But wow, Wow. During a spelling test. Miss, how do you spell piano? The spelling word was piano. Teacher went on autopilot and started spelling the word. Wow. Well, that's funny. I was grading a written assignment that had 1,000 word count minimum, and one particular paper just felt really short to me despite a word telling me it was roughly 1,100 words long. On a hunch, I hit Control A, and sure enough, after the paper concluded, there was a lot of white nonsense text on a white background. I read this somewhere. I feel like this would only work if you do like a little bit, you know, like one paragraph or something. But if you do like 500 words, then yeah, it's gonna be obvious. Physics professor posted the answers to the homework online after it was due. Thing was, he was just making the existing pages visible, and the URLs followed a simple and predictable format. If you knew the URL, you could look at it before it was made public. For example, Physics Homework 1, Physics Homework 2, Physics Homework 3. I see. So everyone would just know whatever to do. And he's probably just wondering, wow, everyone's getting 100%. Wow. My sister-in-law is a teaching assistant at a kid's school. Her youngest daughter, my niece, was 7 at the time. She stole the test the night before, pretended it was homework, and had her mum help her with her homework, then sneaked the answers into the test. One of the other kids caught her, let the teachers know, and my sister-in-law, who was overseeing test conditions, died inside when she realized it was the homework sheet that she'd filled out. Well, 7 years old and she already planned all this? Jeez. 7 years old? Why are you cheating at 7 years old? Your test is just ABCDs or something, man. That is awkward. Oh man. I was a TA for anatomy and physiology. The professor would ask me to sit in on finals to prevent cheating. One kid came in with a vitamin water. No worries. Halfway through the test, the professor noticed they kept turning bottles and squinting. This goes on for another 20 minutes. They couldn't be more subtle about it? Why do they have to be so obvious? Professor goes up, grabs the vitamin water bottle and rips off the label. It had a crib sheet written on the back. The students had gone to the effort to make a fake vitamin bottle label and write notes in the back. The professor was impressed by the creativity and decided to give the student a 0 and not report them to the academic committee. Oh, I thought it was gonna say the professor let them go. Man. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. If you had time to write notes, you have time to study. You know, if you have time to do things to cheat, you have time to study, okay? No excuses. I guess they're just lazy to study, but they're not lazy to find a way to cheat. What is this? A classmate was printing the answers on his paper in a very pale grey so that it barely can be seen. Still got caught because the teacher noticed him reading an empty sheet. That's funny. He didn't get caught because the teacher thought he was cheating, but the teacher just thought it was odd that he kept looking at an empty sheet. That's so funny. Stretch a rubber band around a textbook. Write whatever you want on it. Then when you take it off the textbook, it'll just look like scribbles until you stretch it to see what's written. Oh, I've seen this life hack before. Oh wait, not a life hack. I mean, I've seen this cheating method before. It's not a life hack, okay? Cheating is not a life hack. Don't cheat, please. Don't cheat. Just study, alright? Study and get that information in your head and use it, okay? It could be useful one day. You never know. As a student, I remember when my entire year level was accused of cheating, as the test results came back consistently high. What the teachers failed to realize was that some of the answers were actually hidden in other questions. So, if you got stuck on one question, you could find the answer later in another question. An example would be, this was a Japanese language test. What does blank word mean? And later on, a question will use that word in context, so you would understand what that word meant. Oh, the person who made the test didn't think it through, eh? I passed a pop quiz in high school by looking across the room and focusing on top of the smart girl's pencil and trying to decipher if she wrote A, B, C, or D after the teacher asked each question. It actually turned out more successful than I thought it would. Oh, how did I know it was A, B, C, or D? Like, it's not that far apart from each other though. A would be like 1, 2. 3. B would be like 1, 2, 3. C would be like 1. D would be like 1, 2. Wow. I remember in middle school we would rely on the one kid who actually studied. Most of the quizzes our teachers gave was multiple choice, so if the answer was A, the kid would cough. If the answer was B, he would sniffle. If the answer was C, he would sigh. And if the answer was D, he would stretch in his seat. Everyone in my science class was eventually that kid. Every time there was a quiz, a different person in the class would study. Whoa, everyone took turns studying? Wow. 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 Interesting. What if you miss one question though, right? Then the order would be wrong. Like what if you're so focused in coloring in the multiple choice questions and then you miss them signaling and then now you don't know what number you're on anymore? That's kind of confusing. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!